Looks like we're live with the ZED Run Tournament Zero Grand Finale. 12 horses, only one will come out a champion. They're going to race for points over 6 races. The horses from the ZED Run ecosystem. We have 12 horses. Figured it out. Ready, Set, Boom, Princess of Power, Hendrix, Houdini, The Hedge Fund, Fibonacci, We're Going Streaking, Me First, Oh My Ether, Trail Beyond, Sentinel, and Starman. And if you've been following us through these quarterfinal, semifinal, and final rounds, then you're well aware of these horses' racing potential on ZED.Run. And you're here with two of the FNL stable owners in the FNL Champion DNA ZED Run ecosystem. And I'm Chris, and I'm here with Travis.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, what's going on, buddy? And we're from different sides of the country, and we're going to get together today, and we're going to call these races. So without further delay, we're going to jump into a replay from the finals yesterday on our marathoners. It was an amazing race, and you need to see it. If you're new here, let's start off with some fun and show you right away what this is all about. This is the marathon. This is a 2,400 meter race. This is Ready, Set, Boom. Dink, dink, goose. Shows you where these horses' stables are, or at least the name of their stables, what type of horse they are, how many wins they have, second places, third places, their generation or genotype, which is their Z number. The lower, the better on the Z number. Lower, the purer and rarer. Quick Ben in gate 10, Figured It Out in gate 11, and Inspector Klaus in gate 12. This is a phenomenal race. When you race these 2,400 meters, they stretch their legs and they go the distance. And the space between the first horse and the last horse can usually be quite vast. But you're going to see some amazing things out of the horses that finish in this race and are going to be racing today in the final. And 2 of those horses may be amongst the favorites of the final. Let me let you watch. We're 600 meters in. The horses are pacing side by side. Inspector Klaus here down here in lane 12 next to the blue horse, Figured It Out. In the middle, you have Princess of Power, Hendrix, Houdini, and Paul Stud. You're going to see Hendrix Houdini again today. Things are picking up. All these horses are unique, individual horses with phenomenal track records. And they've all won their way here through 2 weeks of qualifying rounds. A quarterfinal round and a semifinal round. Some of these horses to get here have won $600 or $6,000. A couple of them have won $3,600 in one of those rounds. Here we go. We'll go with a side view. This is exciting. Take down the show so you can just see for just a second how distanced they are already. That's Ready, Set, Boom way back there, around 60 meters back. And down here on the bottom, Quick Ben. And we'll bring those placements back up. You can see them behind the placard. Inspector Klaus and Princess of Power out in front with Hendrix, Houdini. Just 250 meters left. Can any of these rear horses get in the top 3? Figured It Out, must have figured it out because it took Inspector Klaus on the inside, passing Hendrix, Houdini, and Princess of Power. Figured It Out, Ready, Set, Boom, and Princess of Power. And the neat thing about this race is since it was a final 4 races from this race, get the opportunity to race in today's grand final. Hendrix Houdini in 4th place makes the grand final. These are the 4 champion race horses. Look at that. We have 46 wins, 47 now on this racehorse, 26% win rate on that Genesis Z2 Nakamoto. Figured it out. So figured it out, ready, set, boom, Princess of Power, Hendrix Houdini, 4 of the 12 horses racing today in the grand final on ZED.run. 31 minutes away, we have that grand final. There you see some of those horses in the first round. These are the same 12 horses in each round. And you have Figured It Out, Ready, Set, Boom, Princess of Power, Hendrix Houdini, The Hedge Fund, Fibonacci, We're Going Streaking, Me First, Oh My Ether, Trail Beyond, Sentinel, and Starman. And you can see right there's a fire rating next to Oh My Ether, Sentinel, and Starman, which makes them the favorites in this first race, which will be at the 1,000 meter distance. So we do have our favorites. None of the horses we just watched, the marathoners, are the favorites in the sprint division. And let's talk about how this is going to work.
Real
Travis?
quick, We're Going Streaking looks like a little bit of an underdog here, where you have mostly Genesis horses, and We're Going Streaking with a Z17 Buterin in the middle of a bunch of Z1 Knox and Genesis Z6 Savo and Z7 Savo. So it's pretty cool to see that a little bit of an underdog in a horse here that's made it all the way to the finals.
Way to
Class
point that
4.
out. Yeah, literally, way to point that out. That's a huge difference. It's a big standout in class 4. That's 3 classes down from what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 out of 12. So 75% of the field are currently racing 3 classes ahead of We're Going Streaking. The maroon horses, Me First and Trail Beyond, are used to racing in class 2. And if anything, Me First just entered class 2 at a 61 point rating. So during this tournament, that Me First entered class 2. So previously the young Z8 Sabo Colt raced exclusively in class 4. So a little out of sorts as well. Maybe Me First is in the same boat as We're Going Streaking. What do you think, Trev?
Yeah, very, very possible. It's definitely a newer horse to racing, you see, with only 6 wins. So they're definitely figuring this horse out while running it through the finals. They were probably very pleased with this horse because most of this horse's performance has been in the tournament, it seems.
36 races. You know, we can go to knowyourhorses.com, and here's another good place to look at the finals. There's the marathoners that we just saw. This will be the review of what we just watched. There was the four placements running a regular time, but running it well ahead of the rest of the pack and advancing to this grand final. In Know Your Horses and in the tournament standings, you can see the cutoff line for these horses was to win 55.93% of their races if they were sprinters through at least 30 races. So let's look at Me First and see what Me First did in just the tournament. So in just the tournament, Me First has participated in 42 races. Now, if you look at Me First overall racing, 36 races. So me at the quarterfinals and the semifinals, are they not counting? How are those?
They're not updated yet, I don't think.
They're just doing the tournament details.
Right.
So they've gotten away from their total details. But either way, the point is that all of the races for Me First have been in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And it qualified with 38 races in the mid-runner distance. Okay, it was ranked number 137 out of the top 192 horses that went to the quarterfinals. That's out of thousands and thousands of horses. This horse was able to show up out of stable for the first time in its life and get a 52%.
Something very interesting.
Show rate.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, you're good.
52% show rate's very, very good. This horse has only run a 16 and an 1800. It's never run a 1,000, a 12, or a 14. It's never run a 2,000, 22, 24, or 26. You can pull up the horseshoe and see it right. If you pull up the horseshoe, you can see it pretty easily, as well as the speed analysis. So all this horse did was come in, run 16s and 18s, realize that it put up a 105 time, a super good time on the 18, and then just hammer it all the way through as long as it could in the tournament. Got 5 first, 6 second, 7 third. And compared to its last places, that's very, very good. So this horse came in and ran nothing.
Oh,
Nothing but
goodness.
its good race.
Well, hopefully it has this thing about it that gets hot out of the gate the very first time. That me first, the me first time running this race, me kick its butt. And if that's the case, then it'll be just fine.
All right. It's interesting to see an unproven horse in the finals. Even the owner, nobody knows what it's going to do.
Here's the scheduled races you can also look at right here on the knowyourhorses.com. And there's your grand final. Starts today at 3 p.m. That's 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern time, or 10 p.m. UTC. And grand final number 1, back again. You'll see, there we go. Me first, racing right there in the middle in lane 8, maybe over his head, having to race all these different distances today. There's our marathoners in 1, 2, 3, and 4. I don't know if that is their lane. How'd they end up right next to each other? And then down here we have Trail Beyond. They put them in order. All the sprinters get to pace and learn and run together in lanes 9, 10, 11, and 12. So let's talk about the favorites today in the first race, which is the 1,000 meter. Oh My Ether, Sentinel, and Starman. We watched these horses run yesterday. Oh My Ether was oh my exciting. So Oh My Ether yesterday in the finals actually took first place, putting up a 69.66. Not its best time. If you see right there in the semifinals in that 1,200, was able to hit a 68.83. What's nice to notice is if you go in and look at Oh My Ether's regular races, regular times, it's used to getting the lowest odds when there used to be odds in the game. It got low odds at different distances. So it was able to get low odds at the 1,000, the 12, and the 1,400 through almost an equal amount of races. And just showed up a little bit in the final funnel and did quite well against the field there.
So Oh My Ether's a good example of an L-shaped horse, a very, very high place horse that doesn't get last a lot. Well, you couldn't even call it much of either. Maybe a little of a U, but it's just heavy placing. Very, very consistent in the top 3 is one thing to look at with those placements. And I'm wondering if we're looking for that through the tournament. We may have horses that are very, very fast, but just turn it off for a race, where some of the consistent horses might be able to move forward if they consistently run well in every distance. So what do you think about that, comparing some of these heavy L-shaped high class 1 horses with some of the ones that place last place a lot? How do you weigh that together in a tournament that goes through different distances?
You know, I think that's a big deal, not only just for the distances, but the L-shaped horses versus the U-shaped horses, the ones that turn it on and off, hitting their slump at the wrong time, versus an L-shaped horse like we just saw. Being in Oh My Ether, being able to give its best foot forward 90% of the time. So the different, some horses are meant, and it's funny that Genesis horses of all the breeds are meant to run different distances. They can flourish at different distances. I don't know how they're going to flourish against horses that flourish at their preferred distance.
Right. Even looking through that list, you see the same underdog. You see Genesis for every horse except for that one Z17 Buterin. Let's scroll through and look if you can until you see.
Oh, this is the wrong race, but I know what you're saying. Yeah, exactly. So we go back to races, scheduled races. Use scheduled races in the grand final, number 1.
Perfect. Yeah, they're all Genesis. That's what I wanted to look at. Thank you.
Except for We're Going Streaking is a legendary, and Me First is an exclusive.
Interesting.
So Yeah, very interesting.
And every other horse is a Genesis. So the two horses we just talked about being a little unproven or a little bit of an underdog are just that. They're the only ones that weren't created by the system and given their inherent traits. So,
Let's take a look at We're Going Streaking and what kind of shape it is. Now, you see, we just talked about it as a good example. We just talked about the L shape, and we're talking about the U shape. We're talking about a horse's ability to lose as many races as it's won. And so you have to see, what distances has that horse been able to do this at? Different distances. Does it get fire, or is it the favorite horse across the board at different distances? Which, so far, We're Going Streaking has streaked across different distances and been able to get somewhat of a fire rate. I'm sure that's subject to moving up the ranks. It hasn't been able to get fire throughout the tournament. It had fire going into the tournament. It finished strong, preparing for the tournament, and had fire most of the time. But you can see it's always been at the mid distances that it's received the most fire. So if you go into the horseshoe rating, and I love the horseshoe rating, Travis, because it shows, what has this horse done?
Distance. I like both. I like the speed analysis and the horseshoe rating a lot, but on this horse, and the lower distances doesn't look quite as good on the times, and I think that's reflected in the placements there, where it's kind of all over the place, but no first.
Yeah, I don't know if it's had a chance to learn. You look at today could be its lucky day with a 12th place in the 1,000-meter. It could say, "Oh, I like this race," and it could go out and dust the competition to create a U. And same with the 1,200, as it's done so far in the 1,400, and that's the sprint funnel. The 1,600 makes the U. So does the 1,800, which is heavy in the 1,800. Probably how it arrived through the finals to get here. It loves the 1,800.
It looks like it. Highest heat rating too. And the reason we're pointing out this U is because the horse oftentimes is what you could call less consistent as far as its overall time, to where when it turns it on, that horse is blowing by the competition, but there's times where you get close to last, which is very, very good at times to keep a horse down in class, or to keep a horse maybe in class 2 or 3, because you're either winning the race or you're losing points to stay down in class, which is something that an L-shaped horse might not have. L-shaped implying that it's top 3 heavy, and when it's not top 3, it'd be 4th and then 5th and 6th, because it's always trying its best is one way to look at that, or always trying close to its best time. So it's interesting that a horse like this can become almost a wild card, where is it going to try today, or is he going to feel outmatched and let the pack kind of carry away from him?
It's exactly the right point to make. Is he going to feel outmatched? Is he going to say, this is tough. This is the toughest field. I'm going to learn from these horses. Now, these horses aren't real horses, but they do have things they prefer and things they don't prefer. And so this horse definitely prefers doing different things, and it's untested in other things. It may be here to learn. It looks like the 2,000 is going to be a distance it's done a lot of random things in, which is probably going to carry over to the 2,200. Well, it's one of the 2,200. And it's only raced the 2,600 once. 2,200 strangely has 50% heat rating. The 1,800, 400 meters away, has a 60%. Another 400 meters away, 23%. So overall, there's a lot of horses in the ecosystem that can't get a heat rating at any distance. And this horse can drum one up at multiple distances. So you can see why the horse deserves to be here, even though it's not a Genesis. And then there's me first. That's We're Going Streaking we're talking about. That's the class 4 horse. I probably competed. I looked it up earlier if we had ran against We're Going Streaking, and I hadn't. So it must have finished its races, but we hadn't competed any of our horses against We're Going Streaking, as we do have a lot of class 4 horses. How about Sentinel and Starman? We're about 17 minutes away here. We haven't even watched a race yet. We're just talking. But trying to get you guys in tune with what's about to happen. You're about to see the best horses in the game race for thousands and thousands of dollars. Some of these horses made $12,000 yesterday. Some made $18,000. Some made, at least to be at this position, they probably made at least 900 or at least 444. That would have been the third place in the quarterfinal. Well, you would have had to make a third place in the semi too. So you would have had another, I think it was $900 there. So you would have at least made $900 and about $1,250 to get here. Just free money to be in this thing. We talked about it on F&O Crypto. The grand champion is going to be crowned, and they're given free money. This is them paying their dues and showing some appreciation to their ecosystem.
Well, it's appreciation to people who put in the work and put in studying and time with their horses, because a lot of these horses may be newer, but it's very unlikely that any of the people racing these horses are brand new to ZED Run. So it's a way of rewarding those people who've invested a little bit into their game as well as studied well enough to be good at it, which is interesting because, again, these are written into a blockchain as an algorithm. So there's nobody sitting on this horse trying to control it. There's nobody with a controller. This goes almost like a chess match before the race even starts, where you're learning about your horses, what it can do well and how it can do well. And there is always a little bit of luck where you might have a good baby or a good Genesis horse that you still have to figure out what it's good at based on learning to play the game. So I think you're right. They're rewarding people who are invested into their game.
There you go. That's a good way of putting it. And that's the best way to do it, is take care of your customers. And they're giving back $300,000, which comes out to be about 8% of the 37 million they've collected, or they've already paid out. So it equates to 8% of the 37 plus million they've already paid out in their prize pools. They have a heck of a game system that's working on the blockchain, and that's what it's known for. ZED.Run is the first blockchain operated working gaming system fully dependent on cryptocurrency. So that in itself makes it unique, and the fact that it's using non-fungible tokens or NFTs to make the game give the participants licensed ownership over their NFTs, their unique NFTs, and then now a platform to compete against each other to really raise the value of their NFTs and the offspring, the progeny that is bred from their NFTs. That's what's happening here. So with enough about that, I just wanted to show you where some of that stuff lives. We got just 14 minutes until we get started. And
so Sentinel is a good example of an L-shaped horse. You mentioned him a little bit, where in his good races, his 1,000 and 1,200, he's only got a couple places that aren't first through fifth position. So a horse that very consistently does well in those top two races. But then if you look down, he's only raced a couple times, say in the 26, he's got 11th and 12th. We had an owner from one of our stables doing something similar where they wanted to keep their horse in class. So they would race its good race while it did well and then go and bomb a race in the 2,600. And this horse seems to have done the same thing, where it raced the 2,600 twice, got an 11th and 12th. Or maybe they went to learn and they realized their horse wasn't good at the 2,600 yet. So they went back to their early race and continued hammering.
Wow.
Sentinel. Yeah, exactly.
Some impressive left-handed placements, being totally L-shaped, heavy in the first.
Very, very consistent horse in the early races.
Nothing in the middle except for a nice heat.
Those are tournament races. When it says one and there's nothing in the placements, I don't think they're counting their tournament placements for their places.
And they hadn't done that really before. And then two, with one of which was earlier or after, we don't know. And then I noticed some of the horses competed after the tournament to get some maybe potentially rust out of their system on a race. If they had just placed a bunch of great placements in a row, the probability says maybe some horses needed to go and get a bad placement. And we saw a horse get a 12th and a 9th between rounds yesterday and today.
Or maybe they want to go help their horse learn the next set of races. Maybe they're moving from spinners to mid-long distance and their horse doesn't know the mid-long distance. So maybe a couple of these owners have taken their horse out just to let it stretch his legs a little bit in a distance that it may not run usually.
Well, this horse that we're talking about not in question, but is Princess of Power. Princess of Power is arguably one of the favorites for today, showing the most potential over a lot of distances, 20% win rate. overall in its history, which consists of 1,221 races. So a little proven on what it's going to do and what it's not going to do. 50% heat rate, and 35% of the time this horse shows. So in the tournament, it did much, much better. 41 races. Of course, over time, the horse we find out what the horse does well. And this horse, 57% win rate in the tournament over 41 races, 62% show rate. 35 of those races were in the marathons. But at the marathons was a 60% win rate, 60%, 66% place rate. And 97% of the time it's preferred, or it's in the top 3 horses, gets fire rating. Very U-shaped. It can put up the bad stuff too, which is a danger today, is any given Sunday. But Princess of Power is pretty powerful. So how much time do we have?
A little over 10 minutes.
10 minutes and counting. 10 minutes and 27. Anything else you want to talk about here, Travis, before we get started or show folks?
I don't think so. We can go through a little bit of background on the horses before the race starts. So if anything stands out. On
this Twitter, Painted Ponies posted this thing. Do you understand this little chart that he posted? What he's saying are his probabilities for who's going to win today?
So he's putting his own odds, and his highest odds are his idea of who's likely to win per race. So if you look early on, I'm not sure who this person is, but as far as looking at the chart, yeah, you can pull it up. I can talk about it for a second. So his highest number is the highest chance the horse will win that race. So if you look at the 1,000, he thinks Trail Beyond and Sentinel are more likely to win the 1,000. He thinks Oh My Ether is likely to win the 14. That Hedge Fund is likely to win the 16.
By
and
those
that
percentages.
Princess of Power is very, very likely to win the 2,000 through the 26.
Mm-hmm.
So
all 3 of them.
And the highest combination of his odds goes to Princess of Power, and then Ready, Set, Boom, and then what's the third one? The Hedge Fund. So we'll see how that turns out today.
How are they going to pick the winner on this, Travis? How's the point system work? Did you find that out? Did you see that?
Let's go look really quick.
Put you on the spot. It's in the guide.
I know it is. I didn't pull it up.
Good. It's a good chance to show people that are looking at this for the first time. We have 8 minutes. So under Learn on ZED.run, they have a Learn section with a drop-down arrow. You got a Getting Started guide. Every video we take people here. You need to check out this guide. You need to also go know that this game is for 18 and over, and you need to read the terms of services and the privacy policy. Those are important things, I think. With how awesome this game is you need to do your diligence, do your research before you get involved. With that being said, here's some information about the tournament. And this is how the point system is going to work today. Point system for the grand finals of this first tournament, which is noted ZED Tournament 0. First place in any of these races is going to get 1,024 points. Second place, 512, half, okay. Third place, 256. Just keep cutting it in half. Fourth place, 128, 64. Sixth place, 32. It just keeps going down till 12th place gets zilch for getting 12th place. No award. And 11th place isn't much of an award unless the horses need that at the end of the racing. So it gives everybody a chance to be competitive in this. You can accumulate points, and this is what gives Princess of Power, maybe a preferred, to some, a preferred probability of winning is that very strong in 3 of 6 races says she has a great chance to rack up, 2,000, 2,500 points or so in these three races. So that's how that works. All right. And this is the first tournament. And this is our first tournament coverage. So thanks for joining us here at FNL Crypto DNA. We got 6 minutes away before we watch this race. I'm going to bring that up and let the horses run for just a second. And so Travis, tell me about your stable and your horses really quick.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So I have two different horses at my stable. Three now, actually, with Tears of Gold as a recent addition, but two of them have gone from all the way down at zero in class five up to class four recently. One of them went from zero to class four, is doing pretty well, seems to have turned around. In one of his sets of races, he had heat 4 out of 6 after almost never having heat before. So Kill of Fortune, oh, I see you have him on the screen now. Thank you, thank you. So Kill of Fortune is a horse that early on showed not a lot of promise. You wondered what he was good at and what he could do well, and he put up a good time in the mid distance. So we tried a little bit of mid distance, and he had a couple decent times, but wasn't commanding a lot of fire. Wasn't a favored horse. And once we swapped him down to the lower range and let him learn a little bit of 1,000, 1,200, 14 consistently, really the 1,012, he started to turn around a lot. And since then, he's got 7 wins. I mean, you have it up 7, 2, and 7. So since arriving at the stable, that horse has definitely turned around for us, which is awesome. Didn't do bad in the tournament either. He didn't place great, but as far as his own stats, it looked pretty good for his own performance. I was pretty proud of him. Nowhere close to placing in the tournament, but one of those that definitely stepped up his game recently. And then other than that, we have Yamre and Tears of Gold. Yamre is a Buterin, and Yamre, same thing, had been a little unsure of what he wanted to race and started to do a little better. Has since claimed his 16 and 1400, but seems to be consistent in the 12 as well. So he's starting to hone in a little bit on what he likes to do. Got him a couple wins in stable. So
Let's see if we can find Yamre. So these horses, let me ask, did you breed these horses? And I know the answer to these questions, but I'd like to hear you tell us about how you like these horses. You didn't breed them. These were horses that were in trouble with their records, and somebody wasn't excited about racing them themselves. Is that what I'm saying?
yes, I'm less likely to say that about a horse, but I believe both Killa and Yamre were very heavy A-shaped horses to where the owner did not have a lot of faith that this horse was going to be good. A donkey, if you will. If you hear somebody talking about a donkey in Zed Run, they're referring to a horse that either isn't a very good horse or they don't know what to do with it. And that's something we're trying to figure out here is there a way to turn around some of these horses to let them find a level of consistency somewhere? And Killa, after not getting fire for I want to say it was over 50 races. He had never been a favorite, had never won a race. And then, let's see, I'll pull it up really quick. But Killa, after not getting fire for forever, had a streak where he had fire 4 out of 6 races again. And I know there's other horses who get fire almost 90 something percent of the time, so it's expected. But out of Killa, it was one after another every time. You get more and more excited as he's winning races too with that fire. So it was really cool to see that Killa really turned around and tended to learn in a sense where he didn't show that promise before. And it's clearly a different horse sometimes where you go look and he's at times a U-shaped horse. So in the same race that he'll get first place, he'll get a 12th place in the 1,000 or 1,200. And I think early on they didn't give enough of a chance, whoever might have been racing, to race enough of a sample size, if you will, to see that even though this horse might only try 1 or 2 times out of 10, when it does try, it's very, very good at that race when it learns its race. So interesting to think how these horses can adapt over time and what they get very, very good at. But after exactly 49 races, his 50th race was his first heat. And then he continued right from that race. 4, 5. That was his 4 out of 6 streak, but also 6 out of 8 in a row right after getting his first fire. So he really turned it around once we honed him in on the earlier distances. It's pretty cool to see.
It's amazing to see. And, we have horses that have 50, 60, 70 races and have 1 to 0 wins. They don't get it figured out. They don't have a show rate, a place rate that's really working, because you look back at their track record and their race plan is all over the place and their betting plan is all over the place. So their ROI looks like it's totally miscued. And we've taken a few of these horses, and Travis, what you've done with Kill of Fortune, being patient with him and finding the right races and distances for him. To get to a 10% win rate reminds me of You're Not That Guy or You're Not That Horse Pal, how they were duds and we turned those horses around instantly. Both horses need a win right now, by the way. But the point is that with Yamre Force and Kill of Fortune, you've proven that all horses have things they like to do. And that makes the game have this level of fairness and the ability for many users to participate. You're going to see today, just like we talked about, there's a class 4 horse that made the finals. That gives hope to a lot of class 4 horses. It shouldn't even happen, but I knew it could happen. We knew it
Right.
could.
Because some of the really good times out of Class 5 and Class 4, those times could win races in Class 1 and 2 races. But it's just how often do they do that, and how often do they stay in the top places to move up in class? So it's interesting to think, how will the underdogs perform today? How will some of the U-shaped horses perform? Some of the horses that either do or don't race their good time. So
Trail Beyond has 443 races in his Class 2. I would call it an underdog, and I don't expect for Trail Beyond to really be high in the points running on this. So therefore, with my luck, Trail Beyond is probably going to be in the top 3. But and we're not sure how the pay structure works for this tournament. It says NA out here. We know we could figure the math out if we wanted to. $300,000, subtract what they've already paid out this weekend, which is a substantial amount. 45% of that was paid out in the quarterfinals, and it just tiered from there down to where I think it's 10-12% being raced for today for the top 3 places. And that's a large amount of money. It's probably $30,000 that's being split up amongst these top 3 performers. So here we go. We're a little late getting into it here. We got gate 1, gate 2, Ready, Set, Boom from Trippy Racing. Gate 3, Princess of Power from Arbitrage Racing. There's Hendrix Houdini from Alberham Woodstock. Trippy Racing, the hedge fund. Fibonacci. I love that horse.
Oh, I wanted to mention Desi's Stud Farm has 2 different horses in the race.
They're out of here for the 1,000. Desi's does?
Yes. So
Desi's
has Starman and Figured It Out, which is awesome that one stable had 2 different horses in the race. So congratulations to Desi. I do not know them personally. Do not know who Desi is, but that's awesome.
That is cool. Well, here we go. We're going streaking. Is going streaking through the quad into the gymnasium, along with Figured It Out. One of the long distance horses is giving it its best shot at the 1,000 meter. Trail Beyond, we were just talking about, pushing past. We're going streaking, working towards Figured It Out. And here comes Sentinel and Starman, 2 of the favorites.
Look at those
race.
Back horses with the speed. You can't discount any of them.
Ooh.
Look at it go. Sentinel with the dub. And Trail Beyond and Starman.
I just mentioned Trail Beyond. And it brings it home for the 512 points out of the gate. And Starman and Sentinel, 2 of the favorites in the race, prove their prediction. Look at that.
Princess of Power putting up that U. That's what I was going to mention earlier.
Princess of Power's down there in 12th. So is Ready, Set, Boom. They did not like this race. They're not built for that, I guess. That was pretty impressive. So after the first race, Sentinel pulls ahead. And we're going to cut right to the screen where the grand final 2 is.
Princess of Power, we were talking earlier about U horses, has 248 wins over time, but 261 12th places. Awesome as a horse from a financial standpoint, or from a tournament standpoint, tells you that horse is going to do what we just saw. Either try really hard to go win, or just turn it off and be in very last place. And you wonder, how can a horse that's such a great horse be so far behind? And it shows that the horse doesn't run the same race every race. Every horse is unique, which everyone's still figuring out, I think, a little bit about these horses.
It does remind me of a few of the horses that we had preparing for the tournament that did the same thing. So Sentinel's out in front with 1,026 points, I think is what it was. Something like that. Doesn't matter. It's out in front. We're not keeping track of points. You keep track of points. Sentinel, Trail Beyond, and Starman putting themselves in the best position so far. We go next to run. We got just a few minutes till the next race starts, 2 minutes. So let's look at who's the favorite for the 1,400. It's the same 3, Oh My Ether, Sentinel, and Starman. You got your same horses coming up for round 2. We'll see if we can get you there a little sooner so you can watch the horses parade. That figured it out. Almost looked like if it was in another class, in a different race, it had enough to go the distance. But then you remember, these are class 1 winners. somebody back there knows how to run this race, that if it's not your race, that's not going to be good enough. And that's what you saw with those times. We had 56-second times, which is what you need in a Class 1 race.
Right, those were very, very good times that were put up, and you can't discount any of these horses knowing that they've made it to this tournament. So some of these horses have some very high speeds from when they kind of fall back at first and then turn it on to catch the front of the pack. You saw some very fast horses this last race. That was cool to me to see how fast they were passing some of the horses, like figured it out, that was gassed, that just shot off, said, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna take off and beat every one of you guys, and he did for the longest time until the horses that I picture an old movie with cars or something where you picture like the Fast and Furious movie and they're like, oh, too early or whatever, and they just pass him at the end. Like this guy is so gassed, doesn't know what he's doing, he's out of place, out of his element. So it's cool to see.
Here they come, leaving the stable thing up. So we would be able to cheer if we would just log in. We just log in and see if we can do something about it.
Are they going to be stuck listening to your live stream, though? Do you have to choose when you cheer?
I can mute it, I'm sure.
It's a new feature to ZED Run Racing.
There we go. I've muted.
Perfect. Will we hear other people cheering?
What's this? What is this? What are these features?
I don't know. We should have.
I blocked the microphone from being used anyway.
All these races run back to back to back too.
Oh yeah, no rest, but I'm not sure that they're letting fatigue affect them, and if they are, we'll have to go take a look. They won't show us the fatigue levels of a horse, the stamina levels of the horse.
You know, I don't know that they are because they're not counting the placements towards
their regular record
either. Right, there's a little bit difference here, so we would have to figure that out. We don't know one way or the other, but they definitely could have adjusted it.
Here we go, 1,400 meters.
Hendrick's taking off, but can he hold it?
And we're halfway there.
Oh, Princess of Power looks to have a race on her hands.
Princess is leaving in a hurry.
This could be one of her good races.
I don't know if she has to really push and have a lot of, look at this.
To be able to hold on to this lead against, like we're saying, these top tier horses. I'm sure there's somebody who will give her a run for her money by the end.
It looks like she has the upper hand on of 7, 8, 9 horses though. There's only 2 horses that are going to give her a run for her money. That's Sentinel and Starman. Sentinel's not doing it. It's just Starman.
Hedge Fund's
Princess
trying.
of Power can pull this one off. That's huge.
Oh, Starman. Oh, Starman at the very end.
They're not
did Starman catch it at the very end? I think Starman caught it at the very end.
Starman by a snout, by a nostril.
Look at this speed at the end. Yeah, Starman took it at the very end.
By 9 1/1000ths of a second, Starman nudges out Princess of Power. But for points' sake, Princess getting the 500 plus points in the second race is very beneficial to what she's set out to do today. Starman 2 for 2 in being in the top 2 placements here. So let's go to the results. Let's go to the results. Starman, Princess of Power, the Hedge Fund, Ready, Set, Boom. That 4th place might help him down the road as well, being that it's a marathoner. And then Oh My Ether able to hang on for 5th place. Hendricks Houdini hanging out in the middle quite often. Trail Beyond kind of gives some back after her 2nd place. Trail Beyond drops all the way back to 11th for 2 points. So that's a disappointing one. And of course, we're going streaking through the quad and into the gymnasium. The Z17 Buterin is in trouble back there with the 1 point. Next run, same horses. This time we're going to do the 1,600 meter. We're going to have different favorites, and already Ready, Set, Boom and Figured It Out have made it into the favorites pile with the hedge fund who just placed in that last race. So Princess of Power never ruled out in this one, and we're going streaking with the last place in the last race. Should be able to turn it around here. That would be good for the class 4 horse. Trail Beyond, 11th place, also needs to step it back in the right direction. And we'll see how Sentinel and Starman can do after giving a good performance in the first division. They need to kick it up a notch to stay competitive. And here we go. Watching live, you got ZED Run, ZED.Run. This is Tournament 0. This is the grand finals to determine who is the greatest racing horse currently in the ZED ecosystem. And it's been a fun, long road where the ZED is giving away $300,000 to the top horses and letting everybody who owns a horse participate to qualify for the tournament for free. So exceptional. Great job, ZED. Look for ZED to come to a blockchain near you. No, I'm just kidding. It's been neat to operate completely in cryptocurrency on the ZED Run, using Ethereum, wrapped Ethereum on the Polygon network, all that jazz. There you see them. They're lined up and ready for their 1,600 meter. Me First looks ready to fire off. He's fired up. Purple horse in lane 8. And little delayed start, and they're off. We're gonna go from the backdoor view. That's right, the backdoor view. Zoom out just a little bit from the top, from left to right. You see Figure It Out. Ready, Set, Boom in Princess of Power. Hendrix, Houdini, same lanes all throughout all 6 races. You have the Hedge Fund, Fibonacci, We're Going Streaking, Me First, Oh My Ether, Trail Beyond, Sentinel, and Starman way over there on the right. These are amazing horses. Princess of Power seems to be taking it easy, Travis. Seems to be sitting back.
That could be a good sign, though.
For Trail Beyond
For any
and
of the
Princess
horses
of Power.
just chilling right now, waiting to see how these horses burn themselves out.
It really looks like a rather slow race right now. Like they're all just kind of like, what? What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Waiting on someone to show their cards, to show their speed. Figured It Out's taking off, setting the bar now. We'll see who can keep up. With Trail Beyond.
Figured It Out 2 races in a row. You know, Figured It Out keeps taking off easy, but you can see it doesn't have what it takes today to be in the top 3. It's already getting
gotta
past.
hold on. Yeah.
He's figured out how to be, you know, not in the top 3 today.
Let's see who's going to close in on the pack.
Me first.
Me first, but Princess of Power's closing in with 100
Ready,
meters
set,
left.
boom.
I don't think she's going to catch him, though.
And
Ready,
Hendrix,
set,
Houdini.
boom in second, and Hendrix.
Oh,
yeah.
goodness. Me First. That's exceptional. And they're playing the sad music because all those horses got beat by Me First. Me First is like class 2, Me First. Ready, set, boom, and Hendrix, Houdini doing exactly what we said, being able to get out of pocket placements. And that's gonna help Princess of Power staying up in that half. It's really gonna hurt Trail Beyond being in 11th and then 12th. And Sentinel finishing in 10th, Starman down in 8th. They might be done with their good placements. Same with Oh My Ether. So we might be looking at these top 6 horses from here on in this race anyway, being the top 6 horses in most of these races. It's a good chance. So Me First, the youngest horse as far as racing experience, comes out and does just good enough to get a first place in round number 3. So here we go. 2 minutes away from your 2000. And in this one, Houdini, Set, Boom, Figured It Out, Ready, Set, Boom. They all have the favorites again. So with that being said, Hendrix, Houdini, and right there in 4th place, doing good old Reliable, is in a good position because I know he was the 4th horse in the marathoners last night or yesterday. And then Me First down here, the class 2 horse, maybe just now getting into their groove. Remember, these horses in the middle are from the mid runner's distance. So Me First, We're Going Streaking, Fibonacci, and the hedge fund. You'd like to have seen them getting the favorites here, but they're not. So they're fired up. They are fired up. So here we go. Minute 27 seconds left. Who do you think, Travis, so far? Upper hand going to? You keeping the points?
No, I've been kind of adding them up in the background, but I haven't been keeping them.
Who's keeping the points? Put the points in chat. We're not keeping the points. We just want to see who the winner is. And we want to be surprised. That's even better. When we're surprised, we should be keeping track.
I know they're so quick to go through. If I had already set up the spreadsheet, I think I could do it. But right now it's
all right. That's all right. We'll have it all mapped out and ready to go for the next tournament. Keep track of it as we go. This has been a spontaneous weekend. We didn't know when the quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals would be scheduled, and then the grand final being scheduled the next day. We weren't sure. It was on the website. We just didn't have it all in lockdown. But either way, we were busy racing horses. Goodness. And here we are in the final heat 2 or heat 4, the 2,000 meter. I'm going to put my favorite on Fibonacci. I'm going to go Fibonacci and Ready, Set, Boom. Maestro. Fibonacci in the middle, lane 6, right next to the white horse. We're going streaking.
I like hedge funds or figured it out.
Oh, I see. So figured it out. You're taking one of the horses from that funnel. See, I would have thought you would be taking more than the hedge fund from the center funnel. That's why I took Fibonacci. I said that's Fibonacci's funnel here. Me First already blew its thing first, and then
it also could be, I mean, we're going streaking even as a Buterin could turn it on in these higher distances. That could be our huge underdog there because all these others are Nakamoto. Princess of Power even as a Savo, Z7 Savo, thinking the Savo might be better mid to long distance than a lot of these Nakamoto sprinters. Because most of these horses are Nakamoto outside of Princess of Power, We're Going Streaking, Me First, and Trail Beyond.
Well, look who's out first, and it doesn't look very good. Fibonacci, looking for a clean 12th place with that kind of a speed burst.
You think you turned it on too soon?
We're Going Streaking's right behind him. Hedge fund, though, Travis might have called it, is taking off and passing the front runners. Figured it out, was your second choice. Currently is taking the lead from Princess of Power. So at this point, it's going to take a special horse in Hendrix Houdini or Ready, Set, Boom, or one of those horses on the right, Sentinel, Starman. It's going to take one of those horses to get that back from Figured It Out. Let's see who can do it. Here comes Ready, Set, Boom. Ready, Set, Boom's an exceptional closer. For a long time, it can close. Looks like it's going to get itself in the money. Passing Princess of Power. Oh, gave her a wink. And
it's
passing
trying to
the
run
hedge
by
fund.
him, yeah.
And that was one of our choices there, too, was Ready, Set, Boom.
So you got one and I got 2 of the top 3. That's awesome. Out of our 4 guesses, we had 3.
You picked 1 and 3, yeah.
Yeah.
And Figured It Out. I didn't pencil you in for that race. I thought Figured It Out was holding back, and there you go. Figured It Out with a just Ready, Set, Boom, and Figured It Out moving into position to have a great chance at this tournament. We should at least be calculating the top 3 horses in each race. Points. 46 wins, 25%. I can see why you picked that horse, and it's one of the Desi's stud farm horses that you were talking about. Awesome job. Figured it out. Yeah, I know yesterday, today in the, we posted that picture for the live stream, and we had to take it down. It was too many pixels, but Figured It Out was the horse we put on the cover just because of the blue. It was pretty, and then Figured It Out right now, rocking out the fire rating and getting a first place. Let's jump straight to final number 5. Now that we're into the long distance funnel, Figured Out gets a heat rating along with Ready, Set, Boom. And look who's back again. Princess of Power, maybe the favorite over the next 2 races would be Princess of Power. And, you know, Fibonacci, Hedge Fund, going streaking and Me First. I think they might have blown their opportunity there with the mid funnel. Losing out to Ready, Set, Boom, Figure It Out, and Hendrix Houdini in a few of those positions. It's going to take 3 wins from Princess of Power to wrap it all up and seal the deal, and for her sprinter finish to come into play and help her do that. So here we go, watching the 3D. Thanks for tuning in with us today. We're just trying to cover the finals. We don't know who's covering them, but they'll be archived here for Travis and Chris from FNL Crypto DNA and FNL Stables, specifically FNL Studs and FNL Champion DNA. Come check it out. A community that stables together is stable together. I don't know. I made that up. That was pretty bad. Stable coin, stable boy, stable owners. There's Fibonacci. Hold your head high, Fibonacci. You did a great job taking off and doing absolutely nothing in your speed burst. Oculus will be hunting all of you down in no time at all in that mid funnel. But just like you, he will jog once in a while. Oh, we got 4 horses raring up. 4 horses getting crazy. All right, here we go. Grand final number 5. And they're off. Take a frontal, full frontal on this one. And there it is. See how these horses all have the same kind of gait, same kind of gallop, except for possibly, 2 horses? Just trail beyond, and we're going streaking. The rest of them have that powerful Nakamoto, Zabo-ish stride. Trail beyond the Z9 Genesis Buterin, and we're going streaking the Z17 Legendary Buterin, which means he came from a Z9 and a Z8 Buterin Mama and Dada Genesis. And here we go. Hendrix Houdini's running a nice strong pace. That might be a little premature for the purple Amethyst horse. We'll take a reverse view, watch him run to the left now, just to get you disoriented. They're going backwards, folks. They're going back to the gate. Now you can't see the distance. And Figured It Out is figuring it out. Is out of here once again. We're going streaking seems to have a better pace this time. The Buterin in lane 7. Me First, Houdini, Hedge Fund, Fibonacci, Starman. All these horses have hit top speed and are out of here. Ready, Set, Boom didn't do its normal setback, but you can see it's able to close the distance and has a lot more maybe left to run in this race. There we go, lane 3. Here she comes, Princess of Power. And if you look over here on the right in lane 9, we may or may not see Oh My Ether
way
trying to do
back
something.
in the back. Let's see if he'll pull back. He's
Hey,
trying
this
to
is gonna
pass
help
a couple.
him. This is going to help him if he can get back in that running. It looks like it's too far back, and
He's
Princess
gonna
of
catch
Power
6,
is running
it
out of
looks like.
steam. Can she get in the final?
Hendrix
3?
then figured it out, and
Figured it out.
Hedge Fund with a number 3 again.
Those horses are pulling ahead. Figured
Figured it out, and Hedge Fund right now are both doing very well, you know? I wish I'd
Houdini's
have
got a
said
couple of thirds as well, but I think Figured It Out has figured it out. As we're entering 2600, that might be Figured It Out's favorite race. I'm going to go with Ready, Set, Boom in the 2600, though. That's going to be my pick. So Hendrix Houdini with a 28% win rate crushes it. And I didn't see that horse win all weekend, so that's fantastic timing.
Right.
Doing it in your speed funnel in the grand final. I mean, that in itself right there deserves to be a plaque and an NFT made. to commemorate that moment, especially without heat. Same to hedge fund, being able to knock those other horses out of the final. And that brings us to the final round. Travis is supposed to be doing math for us now and figuring out who's going to be the final, which is kind of cool that we don't have some fancy calculator keeping track of it all, because you may have the wrong pick at the end of this. You might be like, I think the hedge fund won, and it's not even right. So, but that's not what this is about. This is about sharing the races with you and talking through the horses as we're doing it. We've been doing these horses for a few months and have built 9 stables, and they have horses and they're racing them and they're breeding the ones that are good ones. And they're making some, right? Yeah.
We've been doing these horses for a few months.
We've been doing these horses for a few months. If you want to join us, we do it every week. We talk about cryptos. We're able to talk about where to put limit orders and all that jazz. We're just a community of traders, crypto enthusiasts, and horse humpers and hodlers and whatever you want to call it, stable owners. And we're having the time of our lives with these horses. And you can too. Check it out, fnlcryptodna.com. Stay tuned. We got this last race, figured it out. Ready, Set, Boom, and Princess of Power, the favorites in the 2600. We'll see. You got a couple Buterins out here that might go the distance. Their owners may not have tested them here. So you might see we're going streaking and Trail Beyond get all jazzed up and Twitter-pated, stretching their legs for the track. I don't think so, though. I think we're looking at a Princess of Power, Ready, Set, Boom domination here. And Princess is reared up twice now in lane 3. She says, open the freaking gate. I got to do. I've got shiz to do. Shiz to do.
It's the last race too, so let's see who wins.
They say go. And we're going to stay on auto camera for the duration. This is the ZED.Run auto camera feature, and we're going to use it to bring you this 2600, the final round of 6 of the ZED.Run Tournament Zero Grand Final, where Chris and Travis, your auditory, what is it? Your commentators. Oh, that was something you had with like ketchup or mustard. I'm going to have some of them commentators. That was terrible. Don't let me do that stuff, or no one's going to tune in and watch our races. But we're watching the races together every day. We're actually going to be watching races tomorrow and live streaming some of the highlights from our stable owners' races over the weekend. We can't watch all the races, so we do the highlights on Mondays, and we race all the Genesis that are in the group, and we're going to be breeding some horses. And here we go. Fibonacci's
like they know it's the last race. They're all head to head right now. Nobody's taken off yet.
They're booking it for the first
race, though.
Booking it that first 1,000. Oh, my ether's resting. Oh, my ether's like, what the hell is this? My owner never makes me do this unless he's trying to class me down.
Remember that closing speed by Starman before?
Oh, looks like Trail Beyond and possibly Sentinel are leaving, which it's not very powerful if that's leaving. Me First is leaving. We're going streaking. I don't think they're leaving.
Left. No, they have over 1,000 meters left. They're just shifting into second gear.
They'll do it soon.
How long can they hold it?
They'll do it here around 11. And there they go. Some are leaving.
Taking off.
We're going streaking through the quad. Princess of Power went early, but she's going to show you that she is the strongest horse for this duration of the front pack. It's going to be up to Ready, Set, Boom to polish this off. It will totally. I got to get out a different view. It's going to be up to Ready, Set, Boom. We did this view yesterday. There he is, way back in the back in lane 2.
I don't know if he's going to catch him. There's 600 meters left.
Me First. No, this is what he does.
Look how wide this pack is, though. This is cool.
Comes. Here he comes. Ready, Set, Boom. He's hauling balls. Does he have enough to get back in it?
I don't know if anyone's going to catch Princess. He's trying, though. I see what you're saying.
Can he get in the
passing
4th?
These horses.
Can he get in the 3? Can he get in the 2nd?
Oh, look at him go. Look at him go.
He's in 2nd.
Oh, no, 100 meters left. He's going to catch up. It's close. I don't think he's going to catch her. No, figured it out again. Plays 3 times in a row. That's awesome.
Oh, goodness. Is that put Ready, Set, Boom, or figured it out? Figured it out
in hedge fund 3 and 4 again. Those 2 horses did really, really well these last 3 races.
This is close between these 4 horses. This is the final, I think, with Princess of Power winning 2 races. Ready, set,
Princess
boom.
figured it out. Ready, set, boom, and
Hedge
hedge
fund.
fund.
And there's Hendrix Houdini. Like we said, those horses would be the final horses worth talking about. And in the final, and I think that's what we're looking at right now, is a playoff between those horses. Where is everybody? Starman, get up here. Come on, we got stuff to do. No, the 2600 is a tough race for your horse. Look, Starman wasn't even last. He was ahead of Sentinel. And who else is back there?
Trail Beyond.
And Trail Beyond, trailed way beyond.
Yes.
But Egg, this is 7.863 seconds behind Princess of Power. But I'll tell you what, these 12 horses, the males that go on the stud farm, get in line. You're not going to be able to breed with these horses and get their offspring right now. They're the best horses in the game. They're proving it. And the females, when you see the babies coming out of this bloodline, be very afraid of racing them, and good luck getting your hands on them on the open sea when they go for sale, if they go for sale. But it's horses like this, it's the competition we watched this weekend that makes this totally awesome, totally fun.
These owners are comparing the Genesis horses that were released on the game. So I'll come on for a second, say hello. But these owners literally were comparing the horses that were released into the game by the ZED producers. So it's one of the first comparisons that an audience, a public audience, has of what have they done to each horse. And those horses, like you're saying, have proven to be the best in the game right now. So,
speaking of which, I forgot to mention that Princess of Power is a Z7 Sabo legendary. We have a stable full of Z5 and Z6 Sabo legendaries. We have a couple of those. Like, we need to push those horses, Travis. This horse, being from the offspring of two powerful horses, two horses mixed together. So you have the Z4 Zabo and the Z3 Zabo mixing together to make this legendary Zabo. So Princess of Power, showing that you can mix two horses sometimes and make an amazing horse from the bloodlines. And Princess of Power has previously won $82,000, $82,538 in prize monies, and winning 20%. And that's winning 20% and 35% of her place rates, which is a number that we talk about in our group being a level of a goal to reach in your show rate, which means you're getting third place or better, 35, one of every three races. 82 grand, Travis. What kind of horse would you buy if you had 82 extra grand sitting around?
Something like Princess of Power. That seems like a pretty good horse.
Hey, we could probably make one of those.
One of those up there on the screen, actually. Was that a trick question? Because you had the answer on the screen.
Well, here's how it works. No, wait, this is not how it works. You just got to go and you got to say, all right, yacht club member, let's go see if he's on the stud farm. The yacht club member.
Go a chain up from...
Or you go say, hey, let's go see if one of these 15 kids are for sale. Here's 12 of them right here. Let's see, you have Sunborn, Princess of Power, Ace Duchess, Take Luck, Phil's Hellacious Seed. I've seen that horse a few times. G Willikers, that's a 73 overall. That gets yourself a good horse. Ace Duchess, there you go. Princess of Power has the highest win rate on the list besides Asking for a Friend, who's a Z6. Z6 legendary mare. So there's a couple different parents. Yacht club member, same parent, but mixed with adjudicator, the judge. So I think if you're patient, you will get a horse as good as Princess of Power. Will you be able to race it correctly will be the question. So that's it. That's the end. The results of the finals, the tournament events, you can find them on zed.run/racing/results. Click on tournament events and go back and review these for yourself. And you can look at these horses. You can watch the replays. You don't need us. So you should be done already with us. Go watch your replays and come check us out at fnlcryptodna.com and give us a shout out and put some comments in the thing. We're not putting together professional videos. We know that, but we would love your feedback in the chat if you like.
Give Chris a few good jokes to tell so he's not on his feet stumbling sometimes.
That's right. Tripping over my own tongue. Right on, Travis. Thanks for joining me too, Travis. This is fun. Let's kick some butt this week and let's get our horses ready for tournament 1. because that's coming in 2 weeks. The qualifiers begin. Let's figure out which horses and what is their racing plan, because we're going to be competitive. Look out for Oculus.
I feel like kids looking at the MLB, it's like we're going to be racing in those tournaments. Like that's a goal now.
When I grow up, I'm going to be racing ZED run tournaments. That's the goal. All right.
Awesome.
All right, buddy. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thanks for joining us. We'll write an article that'll come out on F&O Crypto DNA that will talk all about the grand finalists and who the big winner here was today. We don't know who it was. We didn't do the math. If you want to know who it is, I might
do it tonight because I don't have the standings up, so I might go try and figure it out for us.
We'll write the article and post it. We didn't do the mathy stuff. We wanted to watch the horses run. We're spoiled. So, all right, take care. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, catch you soon. Later, Chris. Thank you.